49 for 1. In the lunch break, we'll have Inside Edge, be hosted by myself, Grant Elliott, Susie Bates. Send in your questions to us regarding what your favourite moments of the summer have been for you, and we'll probably table a few ourselves. When I say favourite moments of the summer, I'm referring to cricket. A fabulous day at Raglan, riding some great waves the other day, but we won't talk about that.
Good crowd in, enjoying the sun and some pretty good cricket here at the Basin Reserve. New Zealand made a good start, just lost their first wicket, Henry Nicholls. Now Bangladesh need to strike again.
Guptill's a dangerous player, the one that can intimidate, but by getting Nicholls, I think it just puts a little bit, it just will keep Guptill in check for a couple of overs. You'll know that you don't want to lose two quick ones, so he might just pull back. So there's a chance here, if he can be nice and tight, he can slide through 3 or 4 cheap overs as far as Bangladesh is concerned.
No!
You can see Guptill watchful again. Towage and out! Well, didn't hit that at all. Well, Guptill's got another start, and he's just found another way to get out.
Oh, this is big for Bangladesh. This is huge. It really wasn't an innocuous delivery. It was short. It was asking to be pounded to be hit. Guptill went after it, just got it off the toe of the bat, and it's gone nowhere. Just lobbed up to mid-on. And Rubal Hussain is ecstatic. Big wicket, his first of the day. Bangladesh know how big that is. Guptill on his way after a start of 26, New Zealand 49 for 2.
Ross Taylor to the middle. 233 matches. Heck of an average. It's a heck of a record. Look at the average when you combine it with the strike rate for this form of the game as well. 2100s. Amazing record. And still, I think, a heck of a lot of determination as well. He's not finished.
He'll be hungry because it's been over a year since his last one to international. Martin Guptill was looking in really good touch. You just wonder whether he could have actually gone over the offside. Got a bit wide on him, which is the reason it hit low on the bat, hit the toe, because he almost had to reach for it. And it just lobbed up. That's as easy a catch as you get. Mithun Das has been in the action this morning. But it's good for Bangladesh. The best way to stop New Zealand scoring is pick up wickets. They've had them 53 for 3 in the second match at Christchurch, and now they have them 49 for 2. So there's an opportunity here.
Yeah, Guptill, I think he'll be really, really annoyed with that, because he's coming off the back of resurgence of form against Australia in the T20s. He's looked so good in the early stages of 3 innings now against Bangladesh. 3 times, just found a way to get out. 49 for 2. Two breakthroughs, both openers gone. So Bangladesh, who didn't win the toss, but are doing what they want to do, I believe. Oh, what a lead! Goodness gracious, he knows the surface, doesn't he? Devon Conway to have the confidence to let that one go.
Well, it's been left on length, not line, because it was dead straight over middle stump. But look at the bounce. And then the seam set up and it started swinging away from the keeper. He's having a tough day, is Mushfiqur. That's a delivery that's been left because of the length of it. Just kept climbing. But it's a good area. It really is a good area to the left-hander. Now he's got to recalculate for Ross Taylor, the right-hander. 2 players on 0, Rick. This is an opportunity for Bangladesh. It doesn't happen often where you have 2 new batsmen at the crease. Big opportunity here for the men in green.
Like, there's some movement there.
Interesting watching Henry Nicholls today. That front foot at times doesn't get far enough. That weight transfer doesn't get through the ball. It's about that length when he's trying to drive. Look, that front foot's gone nowhere. So he pushes out with his hands, which brings that outside edge into play, and we saw a number of edges through that region, which ultimately led to his dismissal.
Well, let's have a look at the way that Martin Guptill's got out in the series. He had them on toast, you could say. 38 very quick runs to the first one, and then just wanted to keep going. Got a fine edge. And then he was looking very, very good in Christchurch. And then just a nothing delivery. It was a slower ball, but leading edged it. This one here, out of nowhere, another poor piece of timing. Just those sort of wickets where dismissals, you walk off and you go, really? How did I do that?
Yeah, and you're also saying to yourself, Rick, I should have got more. I should have really got more today. And you're right, you should be disappointed because this is a very good surface.
Yeah, you sit there, don't you? The players viewing here are watching other guys get your runs. Makes you angry, doesn't it? Oh, mentally it's a tough game. You learn to celebrate other people's successes in this game, don't you?
Tuscan's been pretty good today. Yeah, it's been a little bit of help on the surface for him. Still think he could be a touch fuller, just a touch, more around that 6 metre length. You can see that's the delivery that got rid of Henry Nicholls on that 6 metre length. That's the dangerous one, because you think it's full enough to drive, and quite often it's not. But all in all, that's a pretty good grouping from the right armour. Into his 5th over, he's been a good spell. Would love one more wicket.
Taylor underway with his favoured cut shot. 10 overs gone, 51 for 2. First 10 overs, they call it a power play. It's seen 2 wickets for, it was Henry Nicholls just pushing at one that wasn't quite there to drive. And caught at a fine gully, you could say, and then Guptill just pitching a short ball from outside off stump. It's really needed to smash it over point. Instead, tried to hit it on the onside and hit it too low on the back. We must wait for the umpire to tell us the power play is over. We start another one. And I must tell you that the power play is over in the commentary box as well. And then comes another power play. Scotty Stevenson, Grant Elliott.
Should we be looking forward to a little break there, Rig? Go and hang out with some of your public service friends on the banks here. What a stunning day at the Basin. Is there a better ground than this? That is a rhetorical question. Absolutely perfect conditions today to wrap this series up. I'm enjoying the shade there on the Logan Van Bank. Corporate hospitality, families, kids wagging school. What more do you need this time of year? Grant Elliott, welcome to you.
It's just brilliant out there.
That's over the top. Racing away, should be cut off and will be.
There's been a big crowd at the Basin throughout the summer, domestically, and once again we see an international here. Hagley Park the same. Big crowd, big following, and it's no surprise this New Zealand Black Caps team have been unbelievable this summer. They produced some serious moments out there in the field in both the tests, one dayers now, and the T20s.
Oh, looking at club head. Oh, it's dropped again. Another opportunity put down. Mustafiza Rahman this time.
A very uncharacteristic shot of Ross Taylor early on. Normally when he gets width, he likes to go through the offside. He wanted to go straight, but should have been taking that one right in the breadbasket.
Oh, he's got that right on the drumstick, hasn't he? Oh, they will reflect, I'm sure, Bangladesh about some of these drops. And this time, Ross Taylor says, didn't get it right the first time. How about this time?
Ross Taylor looks in an aggressive mood. Short from Rubel. Previous one he gave him width on the front foot. This time a bit of width. As I said before, normally Ross Taylor's cutting those ones. He obviously fancies himself on the leg side to Rubel. He's seen the length quickly and he's jumped on it. It's a good shot. Shot of aggression.
I tell you what, that's a brave shot. You've almost held out trying to play that shot, the ball before. And you've decided to double down. Oh, he's gone this time. There's the catch. Ross Taylor just didn't get in position at all. He's gone. Rubel strikes again.
Well, it was a hittable length, but it was an in-between length. Not too full, not too short, close to Ross Taylor. Decided to play it with a straight bat, and at the Basin Reserve, try play off the back foot with a straight bat. The bounce and a little bit of seam can be your undoing. Rubel Hussain, ecstatic. Bangladesh take the catch. Taylor goes for 7, scores 57 for 3.
Disappointing way for Ross Taylor's short innings to come to a close. Does bring the captain to the crease. What an innings it was at Hagley Oval. just a couple of days ago. 110 not out, leading his side to victory in a record run chase at that ground. It's a good record, adding to that century tally at Hagley. Now 5 100s in one-day international cricket for Tom Latham. 16 half centuries. Good strike rate. Conway this time. No, it's an inside edge. Squirts away. Out to square leg. They'll get a couple. Here's the wicket. Taylor.
Well, it's not often that you get a number of opportunities with world-class batters. There was an opportunity 2 balls before, and then again, that ball just shaping away. You can see that from the seam, but too close to cut for Taylor. And that's a big wicket, 59 for 3.
It's an interesting mindset, isn't it? 2 balls before, the balls that you thought he would usually cut, he pulls, and on this occasion, the ball that was probably there to be pulled, he cuts. Conway had no interest in playing at that one. There'll be a period here of regrouping now for New Zealand. Oh no, they've got the high five terribly wrong as well.
That's the defibrillator? How do you say that? The defibrillator.
The defibrillator?
Yeah. The high 10 defibrillator.
I tell you what, I don't care if you can pronounce it, but I hope you know how to use one. Could come in handy one day. Tight lines here from Tuscan Ahmed. He's bowling a good length. He has done all series long.
Tell you what, Scotty, it's not often that you see there's 2 wickets that you get. Nichols obviously dropped Gully, and then almost 2 balls later, that over, he gets out, and then once again Taylor. And during the power play, the Bangladesh seamers have been very impressive. Nothing full. They don't want to get the ball too full to these Black Caps batters to get them underway. So that length there has been great. The only issue with that length is you can leave it. It doesn't necessarily bring the stumps into play. If you get it full, you bring the stumps into play. It brings in the LBW, brings in the bold. But what they've done is they've been very disciplined, and they're trying to get wickets through either a false shot, like we saw with Taylor, and from Nichols, or potentially a nick off. So it's pretty defensive stuff on a wicket that is providing seam, but they've been disciplined in this approach.
Yeah, well, especially the man with the ball right now, Tuscan Ahmed, as we mentioned. He's been masterful, in fact, in the way he's found his spot. Oh, there's another opportunity. That's a great seed right there. There's a good bowler. He probably hasn't had the success he's deserved in this series. Hasn't been helped by some pretty slapshot fielding.
That's the length, I think, Scotty, that they need to be at. That's an aggressive length. I think the length that we saw in the power play was perhaps a little bit short. However, it's almost that test length they've been bowling, which is tough to score off. If you mix it up with the odd ball, like Tuscan just bowled there to Conway, you can get the slips. They'll be in action.
It's that length too, early in the Conway innings. It's going to be a challenging length. We've seen him play this nick off to that length throughout the season so far, both domestically and internationally. And again. End of the Tuscan over. It's exciting. 59 for 3 after 12. Rubal Hussain has been the chief destroyer for Bangladesh so far in this match, taking 2 wickets. Guptill caught Dus and Taylor caught Mushfiqur. Tuscan Ahmed picked up the wicket of Henry Nicholls. Rubal Hussain coming back into the side for Saifuddin today. And again, challenging.
Yeah, that's a nice length. I like that length. We've got almost like a second slip in place. And almost fourth, call it a fourth slip, I reckon. Not quite gully. So they want to get the ball full. They want to induce that false shot through the offside. Try and get a thickish sort of edge. Rubal Hussain's not swinging it. It's more sort of just sliding across the left over.
Yeah, he's a full length specialist too, Rubal Hussain. Takes a wicket every 24 deliveries in the full ball in one-day internationals. And when he pulls that back to a good length or even shorter, that drops to a wicket every 50 deliveries. So this is his bread and butter right here. And a great time to be plying his trade. 2 new batsmen at the crease, albeit 2 batsmen in good touch.
He's also, with that slingy action, he's a very good bowler of reverse swing. Unfortunately, with 2 new balls in one-day cricket, you don't get that reverse swing opportunity. But when he gets the ball full and reverses it with red ball stuff, he can be dangerous. Probably not bowling as quick as he used to, but he's more experienced now. He's got some slower balls, changes of pace.
No, that's too wide. That is a good shot from Tom Latham. Going to bow full, you can't bowl wide. Tom Latham's been waiting for that one, and that's a real pressure release for this New Zealand pair.
Well, just singing the praises of the Bangladesh bowlers and how disciplined they've been in their length. This time, slightly over pitches, and Tom Latham, the form that he's in, just leans on it and opens the face. Beautiful shot. Nice way to get off the mark.
Hussain, 128 wickets now for Bangladesh. No one with more in one-day international cricket for that nation. He's a proven performer over a long period of time, but the chaos, that'll be close.
Third umpire TV director, we have an umpire referral or a run out. Let's have a look at your best angle, please, for the run out. Ball coming in, batter's grounded. And the ball's not collected anyway. Thank you, that's all I need to see. I'm ready to make my decision.
Confirmation, Tom Latham lives to see another day and another delivery. Good fielding though, sharp.
Yeah, besides the 2 drops, they've been a lot sharper in the field, Bangladesh. They'll be upbeat, 65 for 3. They know if they can get another 2 wickets here, they'll be in the box seat.
Oh, they're running again. They are chancing everything. That's not so good. That's the end of the over at 66 for 3.
It's always a tough one, that one, Scotty. Yeah, diving on the barren pitch, you know it's going to hurt. The Under Armour, that's a beautiful picture there. Basin Reserve. The crowd still coming in. See the lovely cricket here in Wellington. Why wouldn't you on a day like this?
Oh, it's a stunner. We've been treated to some very special days here in the capital this cricket season. But we may have saved the best for last today. Rubal Hussain has been good from one end, and Tuscan Ahmed, he's already bowled 6 overs. They're trying to break the fella here into his 7th. Should clarify too, Rubal Hussain, top wicket taker in the squad, not in history for Bangladesh. He's 4th overall. It's a well-used block, isn't it, Grant Elliott? There's been plenty of cricket here at the Basin this summer. Successful campaign for the local Firebirds in the Dream 11 Super Smash on this ground. Latham just playing off the pads, no run there.
Yeah, you mentioned Tuscan, he's into his 7th over, Scotty, and he is a big lad. But he gives a lot of heart into his bowling, and he's bowled well this spell. He's probably been a little bit unlucky at times. Perhaps that length just a touch too short because he's seaming the ball around a lot. That one was Nichols, picked him off. You see, not bringing the stumps into play, but this has been such an impressive spell.
Yeah, again, I think he's deserved a bit more than he's got out of this tour in terms of wickets. He's a threat.
But sometimes what you find, it's always in partnership, so batting and bowling. So Tuscan and Ruvel have bowled really well in partnership here. Ruvel's got 2 from his end and Tuscan just the 1. And we thought at Hagley Park, Hagley Oval, he bowled just as well. Just didn't get the return. He's definitely been pick of the bowlers for Bangladesh. And that's real positive after he's come back from injury.
Yeah, just 1 in Dunedin, 1 wicket. None in Christchurch, 1 here today, so 2 wickets for your strike bowler across 3 one-day internationals. It's not a great return. And again, I don't think it tells the full story about how threatening he's been. You can see the pain on his face around that 38th over in Christchurch, where it was almost as if the world collapsed on him. Teammates weren't taking catches, balls were going for boundaries that should have been stopped in the field. And you could just sense it was so dispiriting for him.
He's such a passionate cricketer, Tuscan Ahmed. I played with him at the Chittagong Vikings, Bangladesh Play League. And he really does wear his heart on his sleeve. He gives his all. And he takes a loss personally. He genuinely looks at his performance and says, what could I have done? And the other night, as you said, Scotty, he was visibly quite emotional because he was bowling so well and giving his all. It just wasn't quite going his way, but he's been so impressive today. He's hit decent line and length, bowling with a good pace as well.
No run there. This is a good over from Tuscan Ahmed. Chittagong Vikings. Big Viking history in Bangladesh, is there?
I didn't really go into the history much, but yeah, we didn't have a Viking mascot as such. But yeah, it was good to meet the local players and get to know them. I think that's a great part about T20 cricket, is you do get to meet those international players around the circuit and have those friendships forever.
That's a great over. Tuscan Ahmed finishes his 7th, and it's a maiden. That's an absolute ripper from him. What a spell this has been. And on that note, we'll quench our thirst with a Powerade drinks break. wickets have fallen for New Zealand. Guptill, Nicholls and Taylor, all via catches. Guptill got a start again, 26 off 28 was looking good. Nicholls too. 18 before, well, he was dropped first by Mushfiqur and then finally taken very next ball, or 2 balls later. Hudson Das doing the damage. Marty Guptill holding out, Duff's the man again, and then Ross Taylor also got a let off. And then next one behind, Mushfiqur taking the catch, and that would have been great comfort for the wicketkeeper, who it's fair to say probably hasn't had his strongest series behind the stumps. There's the bowling card. Taskin 7 overs, that's a hefty spell. Just the 1 wicket, 29 runs. The other 2 bowlers used, so no sign of spin so far in this game. Interesting to see when Tommy McMahon releases the Mahitis.
There will be an interesting talking point to see when the spinners start, because this pitch is definitely helping the seamers and swing bowlers. So I think you try and resist that for as long as possible on this deck while it's facilitating a little bit of seam. Well, actually quite a lot of seam. We saw Taskin Ahmed been seaming it both ways. Mr. Fiza, he's only bowled the 3, so there's potential that they can bring back him for another 3 or 4. Ruvel Hussain has only bowled the 4 overs, so I think you bowl seam for as long as you can, because you know that if you can get 2 wickets here, try and get this New Zealand team down 5 down early, really does put you in a great position.
Well, these two joined each other at the crease with New Zealand at 57 for 3. Oh, Conway's gone after that. It's gone high and long. 1 bounce 4.
Well, any run at the moment for New Zealand is a bonus. Conway struggling to get underway, decides to have a go at it short. Fortune favours him, gets a little top edge on it. Trying to jump on everything short, the New Zealand batters. Anything, cuts, pulls. Want to try and avoid the drive on this pitch while it's seaming.
I like that shot, though, from Devon Conway, or at least the intent behind it. Fine legs quite wide. Here, he knows the angles of this ground very, very well. And the fact with that shot, with, you know, yes, it's top edge, but intent to go through with it, to play it. It's a big ground here by New Zealand standards, so you know if you're going to go half-hearted at shots like that, that brings in your catching opportunities. Give away your wicket by not committing to the shot.
It's a good point, Scotty. I think when you get on a pitch like this, you have to show intent in your game plan. And we saw Latham and Conway the other night when they were playing the 2 off-spinners. They committed to their game plan of not sweeping because it wasn't the conditions that were fit for sweeping. Now currently on this pitch, you don't want to be driving it too many just because there's a little bit of nibble. There's one slip in place and kind of like a deepish gully. So any drive is fraught with a bit of danger. So that's a good length. So the battle for the batters at the moment is, what shots am I going to play? How am I going to try and take an attacking mindset to these bowlers? And that's when you start working out your shots. So obviously Conway's decided, I'm going to take on anything short. Pull shot, we've seen from Latham also the other night. He takes on the pull shot, and that ball before that he just faced was full enough to drive, but he just pushed at it.
Can't get to that one, Latham. It just ricochets off the pad. You're 113. These two added for the 4th wicket in Christchurch. And it's incredibly valid what you're saying there, because that's good understanding too. Good conversations going out in the middle between these two. So they've obviously developed very quickly a bond. They trust each other, trust each other's knowledge. Devon Conway joined us post-match after Hagley Oval, and I think he made that point. There's not a lot to say. We knew what we wanted to do, just the reminders, the constant reminders about what is our plan, how are we going about our work. And to stay in it, to trust it, because the chase was fraught for a time. That seemed to be over, 72 for 3.
Yeah, and that's experience, Scotty. I mean, Conway, you're right. He did speak about that partnership that they had, and he said he loved batting with Latham and listening to him and learning. Now, Latham would be one of the more experienced players in the team, so it's not the first time he's batted on, I guess, what would be considered quite a spicy wicket for one day cricket. The ability to adapt is key for these batters. Ability to adapt to seam. Now, this will be welcome. Off spinner to the crease. It's Mehidy Hasan, who's had a great introduction, I'd say, into international cricket. He's looked confident, he's bowled well, he's also batted well. He brings in a bit of youth into this team. And with that, as we know, comes a lot of confidence these days.
Straight away turned to the leg side for a single, and that'll be a confidence booster. Nathan playing at the shot straight away. I think you're right, there's a sense of comfort out there now. Not comfort at least, but potentially relief that a relentless seam spells come to a close.
Yeah, I'm not too sure I would bowl Mehidy Hasan at this stage. I feel that Bangladesh have got 2 new batters in, kind of fresh, so both are under 10 at the moment. But there's not going to be any turn out there. This is going to be very different to conditions we saw at Hagley Oval. Won't be turn, just drift on with the arm.
Oh, chance there. Tom Latham, well, visions of Christchurch again there. Was the ball that bamboozled him in Christchurch, and he almost did the same. It was a caught and bowled opportunity.
Beautiful seam presentation there. It's changes of pace, just subtle changes of pace from Mehidy Hasan. This is the problem with bowling spin, is that you can just try and pick off those singles when it's not biting and turning.
That's great drift on that delivery to Latham. Just gripped a little, as you mentioned, that seam presentation spot on.
No.
There's not going to be a lot of assistance off the pitch, that's for sure. End of the 16th over, 75 for 3. The old world bucolic charm of the Basin Reserve. Bank in all its splendour. Absolutely picture perfect here today. There's Ribble Hussain. Continues from the Adelaide Road end.
They've been very disciplined, Bangladesh bowlers, the seamers. Bowling coach Otis Gibson, very experienced man around the cricket circuit, especially with the seam bowlers. They've come here for a fight today.
Another chance, half a chance at least in the field for Bangladesh. Latham scampering through. Well, questions may well be asked too about the decision to bat from Tom Latham. He's out there now. No doubt a lot earlier than he would have hoped. But it was an interesting decision. It certainly made our eyebrows raise to bat on this pitch.
Yeah, and he's saying there's a bit of seam there. And what we saw from Latham is he's trying to counter it. This is good positive stuff. There's a way that you have to try and be attacking on this pitch. So by him getting out, he's trying to change the bowler's length, trying to get that half volley or even just get the single away. And you can do that. You can change either the line or the length of the bowler by moving around the crease.
We saw him do that a lot in Christchurch as well. It's the spinners charging down the pitch. Certainly in the first few overs he was at the crease. He was almost on action replay. Tickled down the leg side. Come back for a couple.
And when you start doing that, Scotty, when you start moving around the crease, you change the bowler's line and length. He has to adapt. So he can't just get into a rhythm of just being monotonous and bowling it in that same area and letting the pitch give him assistance. So suddenly he's under pressure. He has to change something, and that puts you in a good position as a batting pair.
It's a fingertip to that one, as Rubble is saying. Devon Conway just trying to up the ante slightly there. There's plenty of space through mid-wicket, and I'm sure Rubble is saying would just love Conway to go after it through there. Not so much on the offside. Single taken off the last ball, 79 for 3 after 17.
Speaking to any off spinners that come to the basin, they talk about changes of pace. There's the wind. The wind can facilitate the bowling a little bit with, as you said, Scotty, the drift. But it's more bounce. Some off spinners or finger spinners that come to the basin reserve say they love bowling here. Harbhajan Singh was one. So he loves getting the bounce off the pitch. And the Basin Reserve, which is home to Jeetan Patel, or was home to Jeetan Patel, many overs on this wicket, talks about the bounce that you get when you're bowling.
Shaq Mahedia's son. And second over. Well, Latham in Christchurch was very adept at working the singles, rotating the strike, with Conway in particular.
No run, bowling.
Just the way he played spin in that innings.
Yeah, and that's a really good graphic. He came out, and that's him using his feet. The yellow falls there.
Cut away, good shot. Backward a point, and that is for Conway. Warming to his work here.
Well, we spoke about using the feet. This is depth of crease. This is waiting for the ball, getting it on that left hip, hitting it very late, dissecting those fielders between point and backward point. Just shot of high class there from Devon Conway. Yeah, so we saw Latham using his feet, and the reason why he uses his feet is he wants to change the length of the bowler. By doing so, he can play in the more comfortable area, which is the back foot. And we saw Devon Conway, previous delivery, just like that. You can get deep in the crease, give yourself more time to cope with spin, because it was spinning that night. You can be a lot more comfortable with the back foot. It's a lower risk. Today, I think that we might see these two players actually use the sweep shot, because there is no spin and bounce.
Coming down, a big shout for LBW. He was a long way down the pitch. That was hopeful. Thinking about teeing this up. Tamim Iqbal. And he's waved it away. And the clock has run out. That's the end of the Mahedi over. 84 for 3 after 18.
There's only been 3 ODIs played at the Basin Reserve, Scotty, since 2016. And all 3 games, yeah, it is a travesty, you're right. But all 3 games have been won by the team batting first, which I find quite interesting. So obviously no day-nighter. So they start a bit earlier here.
Welcome back to the Basin Reserve. If you've just joined us, 18 overs gone here in this third and final one-day international between Bangladesh and the Black Caps. Mustafiza. Just a little hint to swing there, but only slight. Just thinking about that Latham graphic, front foot coming down the pitch and then on the back foot. The split was incredible, really. It's almost a third of his deliveries, you know, and that just shows that marching to his own tune. I will dictate. Driving to no avail. Fielding from the bowler.
Yeah, you can do, there's small subtleties that you can do to start dictating this battle on the pitch, which is probably bowlers more than batters. Down the wicket so that you can get the ball on the back foot. It's cut. Not to sweep that right, so there should be another delivery, maybe yellow, which would be sweeping.
Oh, it's lovely. Just guided down the third and the ball raced away. Weighted on it. It's a shot of confidence and class from Conway.
Well, an 84 for 3, you'd say Bangladesh potentially on top here. You'd expect there to be a slip or a gully. There's no one catching. Allows Conway to use the width he gets and just get a little bit of bat on it. Playing with the field now.
Salman Iqbal now must be surely asking himself some questions about how he set his field. Well, I said before, there should be a slip in.
92 for 3, could have been 92 for 4, and that was probably very close to where they had their man. Well on 15 overs to see. There's still movement out there for the seam bowlers. Krishna gets a try and get another 1 or 2. He's full on Mr. Visa. Confident move. Wants to return the wickets. plays the shot well, this time with two hands. Lutz getting down on a knee, hitting it square or backward of square to try and manipulate the feel of the finger spinner. Positive stuff for the Black Caps here. Sweep again, just got a little tangled up on that one as Mahidi rushed it through. And it's the end of the 20th over. New Zealand, 103 for 3. Overs gone, and more spin now from Bangladesh as we welcome Susie Bates to the commentary box alongside Craig Cummell. Thanks, Scotty. Good afternoon, everyone. 103 for 3 after 20 overs. Last 2 overs have certainly been advantage New Zealand. Conway now 34 off 33. Mahidi Miraj. Tough job because he's got to try and keep Bangladesh in the game on a surface that you wouldn't expect would suit spin. Good afternoon, Susie Bates. It's been intriguing, hasn't it?
It has, after Tom Latham winning the toss and batting first. The Bangladesh bowlers have bowled extremely well and managed to take 3 key wickets, so a really important partnership again today for the Black Caps with Conway and Latham in, and they've both got starts.
These two like batting together. About to come up to a 50-run partnership on top of a good 100-run partnership in the last game. 2 left-handers. Over the top. Has he got enough on it? Just. Latham. He does like to use his feet.
Didn't quite get hold of this, trying to get to the pitch of the ball, but he's managed to just get it wide of mid-on and get the single.
Yeah, straight away, someone like Tom Latham, we do know he likes to sweep, but I think he puts it away, Susie, when there's bounce. But when he noticed and that 50-run partnership has been brought up, when there's no turn, he's happy to use his feet because he can just play the line.
Also, with the 2 Bangladesh spinners, the trajectory of the ball, it does look a little bit difficult to use your feet too. They really skid it on, so interesting option, but he's sticking with it.
Good bit of fielding. 4 off the over, 21 gone, 107 for 3. And talking about why it's interesting is that the sort of surface where you just wish you just about had a bowling lineup of seamers, because the extra bounce or the pace in it has made it really tough for the New Zealand batsmen, whereas now you go to spin, yes, you might have one, but you've got 2 beautiful scenes of the capital city. The sun is shining. And a beautiful scenes at the Basin Reserve. So spin from both ends. And the reason why it's
crucial this stage because New Zealand now have got themselves through to nearly just over 5 runs and over. And they can put the foot down, maybe with less risk.
Side against the 2 left-handed batters. It'll be interesting to see if they're happy just to accumulate the runs against the off-spinners.
One of the beauties you do with Conway is it's like he's doing it without a sweat. It looks so easy.
He really has had a brilliant summer, and you're probably more of a batting coach than me, but I haven't noticed too many weaknesses in his game, and you'd often think the off-spinner against the left-hander, but he plays the spinners so well, has so many options.
Strong through the offside. Latham's running hard, but they won't get back for 2. 22 overs gone, 114 for 3. Well, coming up in the lunchtime break, an opportunity, an inside edge. You can send your questions into the commentators on insideedge.sparksport.co.nz. Your favourite moments of the New Zealand summer. We've got plenty of footage from the coverage we've had here at Spark Sport. From amazing catches, massive sixes. So tune in the lunchtime break. Just about feel here that it's a risk and reward for Bangladesh. And I know it's a big risk to bring up mid-off. To pick up a wicket, they've got to find a way. And with Mahedi, it's got quite a round arm. It's quite flat. It could be hard to go over that mid-off region, or it's more of a risk. Right back on the boundary there at mid-off. You don't want to miss there. You do not want to miss there to Conway.
Mahedi tried to bowl the quicker delivery, but he's missed his line a little bit, drags it down, and Conway is too quick onto this and crashes it through the offside. Another boundary for Conway, who's starting to get away.
He is getting away, and one of the beauties, he seems to find the gap. Starts off, just plays the ball on its merit. Is that an edge? Off the pad. It's better. Dots. Got to build up the dots. Again, the call is 2. Latham should make it back. Just shows how big the boundaries are. Into the over. 120 for 3. wide bowlers used by Bangladesh. 23 overs, they're going to make another change. I think this is a good one. Shumashaka is coming into the attack. I'd love to see the look on Tamim's face, the skipper, to the catches that have gone down, and even more today. I'm sure his hands went above his head and he would have said, finally we've pulled one off. It makes the game so much easier. And a good bowling change too. Just shows on the surface as well. Spin will be the easier option, so if you do have that all-rounder with the ability to bring in someone who can bowl seam, although it was a warm-up delivery, I think it just challenges the batsman more so. Excellent over, just what they needed. 2 runs at the wicket, 122 for 4. There's one of those successes though, even normally, Susie, isn't it, that there is a chance for the bowlers to stay in the game. Pace for a bit of extra bounce, which is why it's so good. I wonder if they could bring back another seamer. Mr. Pazur just bowled the 4 overs. Huskin bowled 7. Ripple bowled 6.
Conway, like he's done all season, just carries on down the other end. He has been a real linchpin for this Black Caps batting order, and he carries on today. He needs another partner down the other end to get going with him, and Mitchell's got a very good opportunity in just his 3rd one-day match with the Black Caps.
Yeah, he does, that's right. Well, the New Zealand side players have taken their opportunity. Good bit of fielding, and that's what they need, Bangladesh. They've had a lot more energy in the field today, although they've put down a couple of chances. On the ball, they've been better. Dots in the over, 3 dots now, 2 in a row, so the pressure's going on Mitchell.
Great to see as well, a slip in place, just the 3 fielders out, trying to build some pressure on the new batter, keep setting attacking fields and trying to continue to take wickets.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's an unusual field because there's no backward point to an off spinner. There's a fielder on the boundary on the offside. No one on the left top of the screen, so they're trying to get him to hit through there, and that brings the slip into play if it hits the outside edge. That's the job for Mahidi, just the 2 runs off the over. 124 for 4. Wonderful day in the capital city. Not a lot of breeze. This is Wellington at its best. Shimasaka, that's a beauty. Away from the outside edge of Mitchell. Just want to highlight a couple of things. One, the dismissal. Devitt Conway plays this ball so late. He let the ball come on and just hit it through 3rd man. That went for 4. He didn't overhit it. And then Ross Taylor, very similar line and length, but the difference was Taylor really thrashed at it. In the air, no, fielder at mid-wicket. And maybe it's just the difference at the moment between Conway so confident at the coming ball, but Taylor, pretty much the same line and length for the right-hander, but the seater hands go through the ball with pace. And he got the outside edge, whereas Conway at the moment's playing. He lets the ball come on. And it went down to 3rd man for 4. Call us two. This is the benefit of the Basin Reserve from a batting point of view.
Just missed his length there, Shimya Sharka, and he looks like he can get a little bit of shape still with this ball. Keeper standing up. Tough bowler to face when you first come in with a lack of pace and wanting to feel bad on ball.
I like what they've done too. They've put a slip in because the keeper coming up, often he won't get the edge unless it's a fine one, but having that slip there and a roundabout second slip just shows they're thinking about what they're doing.
Brilliant, some more.
What you want to do too when you get a wicket, you've got a player like Conway, and grateful 46 on 46 has not given him the strike. Since Mitchell's strolled out the bat, he's faced 13 balls. Conway's only faced 4. So at the moment the plans are being executed. They're doing a good job, Bangladesh. They're putting pressure on. Yeah, good placement from Mitchell. It's a big ground, it really is, the Basin Reserve. So 4 off the over, 26 gone, 128 for 4. You often say it, don't you, see, when you've got a player in form, what's the best way to bowl to him? What's the plans that you're going to have? The best way is to put him down the other end and not have to bowl to him.
Absolutely right. Sometimes, as a captain, when you've run out of ideas, keeping them down the other end for as long as possible, especially if you have a new batter at the crease. You get someone like Sophie Devine in against the Otago Sparks, and we'd love that to be the plan, but it doesn't always work out. But really important that Mitchell keeps feeding the strike to Conway so he can keep the rhythm that he's in so far.
Talked about this 10 over block, why it's so important, because whoever wins it, if New Zealand win it, then that 320 is certainly on, I believe, on this surface. But by picking up that wicket and maybe one more, Bangladesh can win this 10 over block. 250, 260. The sun's beating down, the pitch is drying out, it's changing colour. They're certainly going to have the best batting conditions. That'll be better for him. He'll feel better. Feel at the moment now, I think Sushi, they've got to, maybe Mr. Vazir's got to come back in 4 overs. Opened up that one end, just throw everything at New Zealand from a Bangladesh point of view. A bit of fielding.
Yeah, with no disrespect to Shimya Sharka, he's come in and he's done his job. He's bowled 2 overs, he's taken a wicket. Now it's the job of the seamers, the frontline seamers, to come in and take some wickets through the middle here.
Ball, brilliant.
Another good over though, just the 3 singles off it. 131 for 4. Yeah, and it's not, because sometimes you don't want to hold your best bowlers back to the very end because they're going to get hit. Tuscan, Rubel, they've got an opportunity to come back and Someone like Tuscan's only got 3 overs left. Maybe bowl him out. Give him it now. If he picks up 1 or 2, then you are right on top. You're not going to need him at the end of the innings for New Zealand. It's just that one big over where Conway got going. Because if you pick up wickets now, you don't actually need bowlers at the death phase, as we call it, or it's a shorter phase.
You're exactly right, and it was one of my biggest learnings as a captain was to not try and captain to the 50th over. How you win 50 over cricket, 20 over cricket is by taking wickets.
It's my placement. They're not going to get back to 2, so good urgency in the field. Conway now on 49, approaching his second one-day international 50. Every post a winner. Question for the New Zealand selectors is how do they fit him into the white clothing side? No, we won't debate it today, but I tell you what, that'll be a headache because he is just too good to be leaving out. He's shown that from his T20 debut, his one-day international debut. This man is made for international cricket and performing. Oh, down leg. Mitchell went across to the off stump, and Wishwicket couldn't get across.
Good use of the crease here by Mitchell. Shaka tried to straighten it up, but just too straight. All the way down the leg side for a well-needed boundary. Not off the bat, but every run at this stage helps build this partnership.
Oh, you love a 5 wides. You love a 5 wides. It just shows that it was really good from Mitchell. He's used his feet at the start because he's trying to upset the length, and now he went across to the off stump. And Shumashaka tried to go down, maybe tried to hit leg stump.
I think you're right, he went pole hunting. It is tempting when the batters show you the stumps, but that's exactly what Mitchell wanted him to do.
Yeah, it's just not allowing him to run in a bowl of the same line or same length. Partnership 17 off 29. Again, when you look at it, Mitchell's faced 22 balls, Devon Conway just 7. 138 for 4. That's a good point you make, Susie, because as a captain you'll walk out at times and you've got your plan roughly in your mind for the 50 overs. It's not written down. Well, it shouldn't be written down. Sometimes you do, you make a change. Oh, I'm going to bring them back in the 35th over and the 46th, but you've got to actually play what's in front of you. And that just looks a wee bit easy at the moment. Right, Devon Conway on the strike. You've got to be able to sum up conditions as a captain really quickly.
I do like as well mid-ons up this delivery, so still just the 3 out to Conway, so also trying to put pressure on the set batter, not just the new batter to the crease, and see how many dots you can squeeze, building pressure that way.
We're going to go around the wicket, and so what that means is the people who've been congregating beside the sight screen have been asked to just stand still because of the change of angle. Oh, that's good though, it's a dot. And you normally do expect your pace bowlers or your strike bowlers to come back in the early 30s over mark. And there it is, through the offside, and there's a lovely rapport standing for Devon Conway. Third match, second 50, and still more to come.
Another superb batting performance from Conway at his home ground, the Basin Reserve. He scored plenty of runs here this summer. Another brilliant innings, setting this Black Caps order up for a big finish here. Mitchell just getting underway.
Down the ground, Mitchell. Ah, he's got all of that. That's on the back. That is a lovely sound off the bat.
Mitchell's had enough of a look here. Saw a little bit of flight, got down to the pitch and whacked it over that big gap in the mid-wicket area. He's given himself time to get in. This is when he can be most dangerous. He's a very powerful striker of the ball.
That sounded good off the bat, didn't it? Well, there's no spin. Just had enough of it, Mitchell, and there was a huge gap out there at mid-wicket.
Ball, Miraj, come on, Miraj.
8 off the over, 29 gone, it's 146 for 4. Wow, Devon Conway. He is now showing everyone around the world what people have seen domestically here in New Zealand and also in South Africa earlier. Just aesthetically so nice to watch. Can play all around the ground. He's just unfazed. He's unflappable. At the moment, it's hard to know where the hold in the game is. Conway's got past 55 times now in 12 innings in international cricket. When you throw in the fact that he's played T20 cricket, as I said, I wouldn't like to be a selector trying to pick a test side and leave him out. Would have seen back in that time.
Where do you bet him, Craig?
I'm not a selector. I'm not a selector. I don't have to make. I think there's one position that you could say is the one that he could potentially take. The question is, am I willing to say it?
So it is much easier just to have an opinion than actually have to make the decision.
It's a lot easier to sit on the fence, Susie, and not have to say. Don't want to upset anyone. Well, I mean, at the start of the summer, Henry Nicholls may be position 5 was in jeopardy, but it's not anymore. Do they play an extra bowler too many at the moment? Considering the next test match is going to be the Test Championship final in Southampton. Sorry, there's 2 against England first. So there'll be a chance. But Henry Nicholls obviously has had a great summer with the bat in the Test cricket and the red ball. Yeah, I think it's balance. I mean, do they carry one too many bowlers at the moment?
It's a good headache to have when you've got so many batters that could fit into that Test batting lineup. But like you say, Conway, he's just shown how much he has about him. Such poise in every format of the game he plays in.
The good news is, Susie, is that we're about to finish in 1 ball's time. And what we'll do is we'll throw the bat into Craig McMillan and get his opinion on where Devon Conway would fit in. You just remember the man on screen got 100 in the last one. He played. That was unforgettable. Bit of extra bounce. 30 overs gone. 149 for 4. Oh, it's not easy. Now the fact that they're playing, they've got Jamieson who bats. Doing a good job with the ball. I remember Neil Wagner didn't play because he was had a broken foot. Neesham, Satner, Jamieson, Henry and Bolt to come. Still plenty of batting. We've got a change in bowling. We've also got a change in commentary. Craig McMillan is going to be joined by Scotty Stevenson. Thanks, Sid. Shane Jurgensen, an interested onlooker. Inside Gary Stead. Rubel Hussain back into the attack. Game's poised. You could say, Mac, no clear front runner here on either side of this equation at this stage, but a very well set Devon Conway at the crease. Nice shot again down the ground.
Yeah, it is, Sumo. It really is. It's right in the balance about now. These next 10 overs are crucial. I call these next 10 overs the set-up overs. Where you set up the overs, the innings to get to the death stage. Death starts generally around that 40 over mark. Can start a little bit earlier depending on how many wickets you've lost or what position you're in. So to me the next 10 overs are set up, get New Zealand to a point where they can go hard at the death.
It's a great opportunity for that man on your screen too, Daryl Mitchell. He's coming early, promoted up the order, 150 on the board for New Zealand. Plenty of overs to play with. And a chance too to bring to the fore that potpourri of skills that he has, and he's clubbed that one. That's 4 runs.
Oh, he's powerful. I love the confidence and the ability. He backs himself. If it's there to hit, bang, I'm just going to go through with it. He got none of that, but it was in his slot. He's so powerful, he's just a brute. Already seen a couple of powerful shots today, but again, it puts the bowler on the back foot straight away.
Some players you watch, Mac, and would have played innings like this yourself, where you get carried along by your sheer force of will sometimes. Mitchell reminds me of that. Just sometimes he looks like a player who's decided that he's going to hit 6 runs and just goes out and does it. It doesn't matter how it looks.
They got big bats these days, so it's a bit easier to hit 6s now.
Yeah, but you must have had innings where you had periods out in the middle, Matt, where you just felt that way, that everything came together, that whatever you decided to do was coming off for you. I don't know whether you just find yourself in a sweet spot.
Very rarely. But occasionally.
You're very hard on yourself. Seen a few of those. That's a great shot from Devon Conway. Won't get the full compliment for it. Just get a couple, in fact. Lovely cover drive.
Well, we've talked a lot about Devon Conway this summer, haven't we, Sumo? 55 from 56. It's the way he's gone about. I love the tempo of this innings. Took a while to get going, then he had a little spurt where he picked up 3 or 4 boundaries, gained some momentum, but now he's scoring consistently, ticking the scoreboard over. It's just what New Zealand had needed. They were on the back foot when he first strode to the crease.
That's through. 4 runs here. Picking out his spots. Devon Conway knows the ground so well. No, he went from, to illustrate your point, he had, before that big over, Mr. Fieser, 11 off 21 deliveries. 2 overs later, he was 32 from 34.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's to me a player summing up the conditions, getting used to the conditions, and then adapting his game to what he sees.
no boundaries since the 23rd over for Conway. And still scoring at this rate. And that says a lot about how in control of his timing he is. It's the end of the Rubel Hussain over. 159 for 4. Overs gone, run rate of 5.13. Conway doing the job out here and ably assisted by Daryl Mitchell. 21 on 32 deliveries. He's on strike now. Sumya Sakar. Nice shot again. Not forcing it.
No. I think what I like about Daryl Mitchell, talked about it a bit, Scotty, is he's a presence. For me, when he comes to the crease, he's a presence. He's a big guy anyway, so he stands out, but he's competitive. And straight away, he puts the bowlers on notice that if they miss, he's going to hurt them. I love that.
We had an interesting conversation at Christchurch, you and I, Mac, away from the microphones, and talking about Daryl's father, John Mitchell, former All Black and former All Black coach, was just a tough guy in provincial rugby in particular. A very different presence off the field than on it, and I think Daryl was, well, you could say the apple hasn't fallen too far from that tree.
Well, you did say that, I think, from memory.
Yeah, in the sense that they're quite deep and individual people, both of them, and I've had the pleasure to get to know both. But once they're in their element, once they're competing, playing the sport they love, they're just different beasts. They're in there and they're dedicated, highly focused. Looked away, chance, no, falls short. Don't mind that field setting.
Now, they're the sort of players that you want in your side as well, Scotty. Those competitive blokes that, are going to stand up when times are tough, prepared to buff the chest out a bit, take the opposition on. Everyone's personality is a bit different, but it's nice to have a couple of those blokes on your side.
The other thing that I think, and I think this is emblematic of this current crop, Black Caps players in particular,
It's a dangerous one now for Bangladesh. 42 from just 54 deliveries between Mitchell and Conway.
Fall of wickets tells a bit of a story too. 44, 49, 57 in the fourth wicket. Mitchell's tried to knock the stitches out of that one, and he's missed the whole lot.
He's trying to hit this out of the base and reserve. The swing of the bat was all short early. He's tried to hit that so hard.
I would have popped a shoulder playing that.
Bowlers hate that. They hate that. Especially if the next one goes for 4 or 6.
Right it down to third man. Just a single taken.
It's a similar pattern, Scotty, you talked about loss of wickets. Christchurch, New Zealand with 53 for 3. Lost those wickets over the first 10-12 overs. Same thing today. 57 for 3 after 11 overs, and it's relied on that middle to lower order to, well, it was Conway and Latham in the second match, but it's Conway again today. Latham missed out, so it's Mitchell. So you've always got someone stepping up.
And it's so patent and clear after a diet this summer of T20 cricket and Test cricket how regular wickets in one day is so crucial. You can't let good partnerships. It's just pull away from the game.
Well, you want to get around to that 40th over, Scotty. 3 down, 4 at the very most. So as long as these two can navigate their way through to that 40th over mark, then New Zealand will be in a pretty good, in a strong position. Because in terms of the runs, 164 and 500, that's a good rate. It's a good spot.
Good shape on that from Rubel Hussain. Mitchell had to clamp down on it. Conway's in everything here, isn't he?
They need something with a bit more substance, though. They need a partnership closer to 100, which then means that they will get a total of 300 plus, which is what they'll be after.
Oh, chance here, chance! Oh no, he's left it behind. This was out for all money. It just needed the ball picked up. It's the sub fielder, Afif Hussain Drubo.
Oh, that's a huge opportunity. Pick up and throw. Mitchell was stuck. He'd slid in the middle of the surface, couldn't get back. He says, yeah, probably a fair call sending me back too. My mistake.
Oh, 12th man, worst nightmare that. Chance to contribute, first time in the series. No timing on that shot from Mitchell. Probably still catching his breath, I would think. That is the end of the Hussain over, 164 for 4, and time for a Powerade drinks break.